On this episode, a teary-eyed Evo shares 10 things that he's going to miss most when he leaves Thailand for further adventures back in the USA.
So break out the tissues, you'll need some too, and that'll make a lot more sense once you listen to this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 and still has yet to take a Thai cooking class.
And I am Evo Terra, an American expat who will have lived full-time in Bangkok for almost 2.5 years. Thanks for joining us here in the Big Mango.
As usual, a very big thanks to those who support the show via Patreon and other means. If you want to join this club, you get swag, you get each episode a day early, and you even get an uncensored weekly bonus episode. So we just recorded this week's bonus show, and among other things, we talked about my 2-day 40,000 baht stay in the hospital and Evo's fondness for letting our fine listeners buy him beer.
Yes.
So to get all that good stuff, just go to bangkokpodcast.com/support to see what's up.
And when you can buy me a beer.
That too, that's an important part of it. So on this show, let's get right into it. On this show, we're going to let Evo mansplain to us a list of 10 things he's going to miss most about Bangkok when he moves back to the United States of Hysteria. As you know, Evo has been with us for almost 2.5 years. He almost made that 2.5 year mark, man.
I know. Close,
so
close.
But life happened, and you've got to go back for bigger and better things. So you're going to be leaving us.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't a big enough bummer, here's another one. This, right now, is the last show of season 2 of the Bangkok Podcast. But fear not, season 3 will start up in a few short weeks with my new co-host, Ed Knuth.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Blame me for it, but Greg and Ed will be taking a short break or a long break. No, it'll be a short break. It'll be a matter of weeks.
Be a short break.
A matter of weeks, and they will come back and bring to you the full-on season 3. But, you know, the reality is I'm getting busy. I'm just a few weeks away from being able to get out of here. There's lots of things to do, and we need to make a transition. And now seems like a good time to make said transition. And to go out on a high note, I talked to Greg about it, and we thought that it would be a good idea for me to share a real honest things I'm going to miss. Because I get asked this question a crazy amount of times by people. What are you going to love about going back to America? What are you going to miss about Bangkok? And I struggle to answer both of those questions in the moment. So I sat down and I thought about it, and I wrote a list of 10 things.
Oh, nice. You did some homework.
I did a little bit of homework to make sure this thing works. So in no particular order, here are the 10 things that I am going to miss most about my life lived here in Bangkok when I am back into the recently made great again America. At least what they tell me was. So number one, Greg, something that you just recently encountered again, and that is in Thailand, in Bangkok, specifically in Thailand, we have amazing and immediate access to healthcare.
Yeah. And we talked about this just a few minutes ago when we recorded the bonus episode, but I just recently spent 2 nights in a private room in Bangkok's most expensive luxury 5-star hospital. And it cost me 40,000 baht, which
didn't cost you 40,000 baht.
Cost the insurance company 40,000 baht. Didn't cost me damn thing.
Right.
Which, all things considered, ain't so bad. So, yeah, you're going to miss that. And, I got to say, man, the insurance that paid for this for me, I get it through my work, and it's a very, very good plan. I'm very lucky to have it. Covers me throughout the world except one country.
America.
The only country in the world my health insurance doesn't cover me is the United States of America.
Right. We don't take that silly insurance from somewhere else. We want you to get a good, overpaid American insurance company. That's what makes the world rumble. So, so I have taken full advantage. My wife and I have taken full advantage of the amazing healthcare in Thailand. We didn't realize it when we got here that we were going to be landing in a place that had far superior healthcare to what we get to experience on a regular basis in America. So now I'm going back, which means I have to get insurance that's going to be terribly expensive. And by have to get insurance, I mean I have to get insurance. In America, it is now a mandate for you to buy insurance. Where a Canadian, I just get it. But I'm not. I'm an American. I just have to get it, and therefore I have to pay for it. The old American way. I have to go back to making an appointment to go see a doctor, which might take 6 weeks. sometimes I have to go back to a situation where if I want to get a blood test, I have to schedule that separately and wait 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks before the blood test gets back to the doctor. All of those pains in the ass, and all of it is terribly expensive. Terribly expensive.
So crazy.
Yes.
Not only are we going to make this incredibly inconvenient, we're also going to make you pay through the nose for it.
God. So that is what I am going back to. And one of
you got to before you go, you got to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Get some dental work done because that's way cheaper here.
I'm going to get my prostate checked out. I'm doing it all, right? Just find out what's wrong now.
Get your eyes checked. Buy a couple pair of glasses.
I'm going to get my eyes checked and my prostate checked at the same place.
Right. Guy can do one on one hand and the other one on the other hand.
Right. Reach around.
Just
in the right way. Okay, maybe I'm not going to get that far, but yeah, that's one of the things that we want to get done while we have time left over here is, all the things that we have to get done anyhow. We might as well pay for it here because we have insurance. Sheila and I both have insurance, and it's good until her work visa is up on the 16th of March. So we will max that puppy out and experience all the goodness.
Do you say insurance or insurance?
Yes. Those mean exactly the same thing. What do you say? I don't know. Which way did I say it? Insurance?
Insurance. Yeah, or insurance.
Insurance. I don't know. Depends on how I feel. Either way.
I guess apparently.
Yeah. Tomato, tater, whichever you want to look at it. All right. So that was number one. Amazing and immediate healthcare. Gosh, I will really miss that from you.
I don't blame you.
Bangkok. Yeah. On a similar note, the second thing I'm going to miss is sub $10 massages. That is nice.
Classic. I got to get on that train. I haven't had a massage in, I don't know, 6-7 years.
Oh my gosh, really? You are. Oh.
I've never really been a fan. It just seems I'd rather just go home and have a nap and save $10.
Oh, it's $10. So listen, when I was in America, I was every 2 to 3 weeks go get a massage.
And it cost $200.
Well, it cost about $65 to $85. And that's just for the massage, right? I mean, here in Thailand, you pay that kind of money, you're getting the full treatment. I mean, you are completely serviced, if you know what I mean. Now, in America, that's illegal, regardless. But no, it's $65 to $100 to have a massage. And these are all good massage. One of the great things about America is we have licensed massage therapists, and they have gone through a certain amount of training. And so you can be almost assured that you're going to get a high quality massage, where when you walk into, or when I walk into a massage parlor here in Thailand, it's questionable. There are some good ones we go to that we know, but the ladies in there are doing a fantastic job. But there are some that didn't quite have the same level of training. But every time you get a bad massage, you remind yourself, this just cost me $7.
I really got to get on that because, like I mentioned, I've got a bad back.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it can only benefit from some massaging. Like
I would think so. I
don't want them to stretch me around and pull my spine apart and crack my shoulders in 2 pieces. Yeah. Just give my back muscles a good working. That's kind of
an oil massage wouldn't be bad for you, but I would were I in your shoes, because I've got a bad back. Mine's all muscular. It's not skeletal. But when I go in for a Thai massage, I enjoy all the pulling and the stretching, because it's mostly what they're pulling and stretching my hips and arms. I don't let them do the twisty thing to my back. I just there's no point in having you, because you have no idea what you're doing. So I don't want you cracking my back. I'd be 50 years old before too long. No more back cracking. Thank you very much.
Have they ever tried to crack your neck for you?
No, because as soon as they start grabbing my neck, I'm just bunched up listen, you can rub on my back of my neck, but you don't twist my neck. That's not happening.
Yeah, so I've been in places where they've just watched a Steven Seagal movie or something, and they grab your chin and they twist your head, and you're like, whoa, no.
Yeah, no, I don't need to be paralyzed from the neck down. No, thank you. So, but yeah, the Thai massages I'm going to miss. I don't even know. I mean, I'm assuming I can get a Thai massage in America.
Yeah, you can. They're like $85 an hour or something.
I can't imagine what they are. All I know is, look, if you go to an Asian massage parlor in America, you weren't going for the therapeutics. Just saying. That's the idea. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. I will have to go check out the Thai massage when I get back home. I'll report back. I'll let you know if it was at the same caliber or not. I guess.
Well, you've been gone almost 2.5 years. A lot might have changed.
That's true. Who knows what's happening now? The whole place could have been taken over by all the people from Isan. They've moved to, northeastern America.
It's a brave new world. You know what? When my sister and her boyfriend were visiting a few weeks back, they went for a massage every single day, sometimes twice.
Sure, I know people that do that all the time. Yeah,
and I think they own a restaurant, so they have the bottom floor of their house is a restaurant, a really nice restaurant, and they live upstairs. And I think they're seriously thinking of setting up like a Thai massage place in their town and sponsoring some Thai masseuses to come over.
I
Canada
floated that idea through Sheila the same way. We could do this, bring him in, but then I started doing the numbers and they just don't work out. You'd have to charge. You'd have to charge a whole lot of money, or you don't pay your workers, and then they have a word for that. And there's Thailand's trying to crack down on that kind of activity. Right. So probably won't be doing that anytime soon.
Well, you're going to miss massages. Number 2, massages. Sub $10 massages.
Sub $10 massages. Number 3 things I will miss. I will miss living in the tropics. This is nice.
That's a pretty broad thing. Can you narrow it down a little bit?
I just like the fact that the most extreme temperatures we get, the most extreme weather is mildly uncomfortable for me.
Right.
It's like, it's a torrential rainstorm. Okay, I'll take an umbrella, and like, it's a cold snap. You better bring your coat out because it's going to be 18 C outside. Like, that's it. It's hot. Yeah, it's muggy. Yeah, it rains, and it gets cool, but there's no extreme weather. There's no such thing as extreme weather, at least not in Bangkok.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on that. And there are times when I step outside and I'm walking to the SkyTrain and I just look around and I think like, this is fantastic. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm never going to have to worry about freezing to death.
Nope.
Or, the tip of my nose getting frostbite or something like that. Like, it's so nice living in a place where it's always at least pleasant.
Yes.
Sometimes a little bit unpleasant. Sometimes it's a bit too much. Yeah. Okay. But I would much rather have that than any of the crazy weather that I used to grow up with in Canada.
I am with you completely. I don't miss the seasons changing, and so I haven't had to deal with that here.
No, I miss that. I miss that a lot. And I miss autumn. I love autumn.
No, I don't miss that
in Canada.
Now, part of my problem is, though, I spent the last 17 years in America in Phoenix, Arizona, which barely has extreme weather anyhow. So
you don't have seasons there anyway.
Not much to speak of. Just the sand and dirt turns a slightly different color of sand and dirt.
Ooh, the dirt's light brown today.
It is a lot greener here, so I do
go like a dirt angel.
Do appreciate the greenness and being in the tropics. That was my number 3. So number 4, I will miss my motorbike.
No.
I've only had her for, I guess it's a her. I didn't name this bike.
What's her name?
I don't know. I didn't name it. I always named my cars, but I never named this motorbike. I wonder what it's. Is it a her?
You didn't name it.
I'm not even sure it's a her. I don't really know. How do you check this sex of the motorbike? But I will miss the flexibility that I get from the motorbike. And of course, I could rent or I could even buy a motorbike when I get back to the States, which I am contemplating using that as my primary means of transportation. But the charm is lost. I mean, the reason you own a motorbike in Bangkok is because you have at least for me, I have cheat codes to the city. I can get to places that it's hard to get to if you are in a vehicle because of the crazy traffic jams here.
Right.
But
you feel like when you're riding a motorcycle in Bangkok, you feel like you have "See you later, sucker" written on the back of your jacket, and you're showing it to every car you pass.
Right, exactly right. But in America, if you drive like that on the freeways, even when it's congested, they will arrest you, Greg.
It's not legal.
Pull you over and throw you in jail for reckless driving. So I can't do that. So I figured, what's the point in having a motorbike if I can't, ride on the sidewalks? I mean, what is the point?
My son is starting kindergarten in a few months, and it's we live on the Thonburi side of the river, and his kindergarten is on the Bangkok side of the river. So I've got to basically drop him off on the way to work. Okay, that's great, but I have several options. I can go to the SkyTrain and battle the crowds because he's got to get up. He's got to be there by like 8:30, which is peak crowd time on the SkyTrain. So I'm going to have to like jam onto the SkyTrain with him, which is not ideal. Another option is that I walk to the Cross River Ferry, and then get like a little taxi there, which also is not ideal because I'm either going to have to carry him, and he's very heavy, and my back hurts, and I don't want to start sweating that early in the morning on the way to work, or he's going to have to walk, which he's he's 3 years old. He's a slow walker, and it's boring walking with 3-year-old.
Right.
The easiest option would be just to jump in a taxi, but then I got to get across the Taxon Bridge during rush hour, which can take 40 minutes to go 700 meters.
Right.
So I'm kind of seriously considering maybe I should just rent or buy a motorbike.
Exactly.
Throw him on the front. Make sure he's tied in well.
Yep. Bungee cord.
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Regardless of what traffic conditions are like, you'll be there in 20 minutes.
Right. But it's just, I just can't put my son on a motorbike. It just goes against everything I was brought up with,
But that's what he is brought up with. He is in Thailand, and the children are, they have like suction cups on their asses, and it just attaches to a motorbike and they don't fall off. They're amazing.
Yeah. Plus the traffic on the bridge, what's it going 3 kilometers an hour at its top speed?
Exactly. You are not in any danger. A car won't run over you. A motorbike might run over you, but that's as bad as it actually gets. Yeah. Because the cars are all stopped and we motorbikes just go right on through. So you should take the mantle over, Greg. You should be now the new motorbike rider of the Bangkok podcast. When I'm think of the children. Think of your son. How much easier would that be on him if you could do that? Plus, how cool would it be if you bought the bike and then he could have it? Because I think at 6, that's when they let the Thai kids drive motorbikes. I think that's the legal limit. I'm not sure, but it feels that way. Looks that way.
All kids grow up dreaming of having a Honda Scoopy or whatever the hell little putt motor is.
Thailand, I think they do. Motorbike. Well, speaking about your son being on the other side of the river, that is my number. What number are we on? It was 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 5. Yeah, this must be number 5. My number 5 is that very river. I will miss looking at the Chao Phraya River every single day.
It is a pretty magnificent stretch of water.
There are some times when it's just nasty, like when the rainy seasons have hit and that what is it, shale brown color overtakes things. Okay, that's not very pleasant. But now, this time of year, when the water is that green, the dark color that's just of just depth is really what it's nice. It's lovely, and the boat's going up and down. It's just a nice, relaxing. When I get up off of my computer and I've been writing all day, I'll go look out one of the windows and just sit for 5 minutes and just look at the river. And I'm telling you, it's nice to look at. There's no way in hell I'm going to put my body in that nasty thing, but it is gorgeous to look at.
It's a de-stressor.
Yeah, exactly right. I like having moving water near me. The beach is some 30 kilometers away. Well, let me back up. The ocean is like some 30 kilometers away, and there's no beach to speak of there. But
there is if you like mud.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you're a muddy mud skipper or a mangrove macaque, you would love it there. But if you're looking for sand, you won't find it anywhere near us. But this river is kind of nice to look at. So wherever we wind up, I think I need that again. I really am going to need that.
And it's not just looking at the river either. It's the river itself. It's the lifestyle and the communities along the river, because it's such a unique little ribbon of Bangkok that you can't find anywhere else in the city.
Yeah.
Just like the little communities and the houses and the businesses and the views and the restaurants and stuff just kind of dot the river up and down. And they're really just great to explore and go back to, like Jack's, the bar that you often let our listeners buy you alcohol at.
Right.
Yeah. That you'll miss that.
Yeah, exactly right. No doubt. I will certainly miss the river. Next on the list, which could be number 6, theoretically, I think this is number 6, is, of all crazy things, paying taxes. Now, listen, no one likes paying taxes, but in Thailand, I've done it twice now, and it's the most pleasant experience. It is extremely pleasant. Again, this year, Greg, just a few weeks ago, I walked down to the revenue office, which has no signs in English, as we've discussed previously. I walked in with the documentation, which is Sheila's pay. At the end of the year, they give this document that I'm sure you've seen that details how much money that they've made and how much money has been taking out of that. And walked in with a few other pieces of paper from that silly tax rebate program the government had, and waited in line. And some lady came up to me and got another lady who spoke English, and they set me down and by hand filled out my tax return. By hand.
Wow.
Filled out the tax return. Now, I already done all of the work on the spreadsheet, because the other part of this experience is that there is a very simple progressive tax system here. So the first bought are not taxed at all, and then anything over that amount is taxed at 1.5%, and then anything above another amount is taxed at an extra 2.5%. So it's a very easy system that is anybody can figure out. I mean, I made a spreadsheet about it, so I'm checking her math against my spreadsheet, and everything was great, and it was
nice,
so wonderful. But now I have to fill out taxes for America, and it'll take me 6 weeks. It's
well, I thought they were going to fit on a postcard.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, don't think.
Let me be clear. When you said it's easy to do taxes here, and I said, "Oh, really?" Listeners, it's not because I don't do my taxes. Don't get all high and mighty and try to report me to the cops or something like that. It's because I'm very lucky that my work does all our taxes for us. So I never see anything except a piece of paper they put on my desk and say, "Sign here." So I sign it, and they're like, "Here you go."
But if you choose to do it yourself, it is you don't do it yourself. You don't. You just walk it down to the revenue office, and they do it all for you. Crazy.
I have done that before. Walked into the revenue office this before I was working at my current job, and I had the paperwork, and it's sort of like what you're doing is you're waiting for everyone to look at you and start talking, and for someone to go, "Oh God, who's going to handle this guy?" You? Hey, who's it? Some guy? You can speak English, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Okay, you want to do it? Come on, I'll buy you lunch. Okay, you go talk to him. And then they come over and they just basically hold your hand right through it, and you play the dumb, sweet foreigner. And they're just so kind about it.
Yeah, they are really kind. It's wonderful. I love it. And it will not be that way when I go back because, go to the IRS and see if they want to fill your taxes out for you. Sure. Good luck getting the IRS to fill out your taxes for you. Not happening. All right. Next on my list, I think this might be number 7.
All right. Yep.
Is I'm going to miss furnished apartments being the norm.
Yeah, you talked about this before, and I never really thought about it, but it is. I can't imagine moving into an apartment anymore that's just an empty shell. That'd be weird.
That just doesn't happen. At least you certainly can get unfurnished apartments in Bangkok.
When we bought our place, obviously it was unfurnished, but I've never rented a place in Bangkok that's empty.
Yeah, when you rent, you have everything you need. There's a TV, there's couches, there's bed, there's linens, oftentimes there are the dishes in the cabinet. When we leave this place, we're going to leave it with more than we came in with because we're not taking the dishes with us. Who wants cheap ass dishes back to America? I can buy cheap ass dishes anywhere, right? But we've only moved twice. We had 2. This is our second condo, but the move was literally throw your clothes in a backpack and go on the SkyTrain, and you're in your new apartment. That is makes moving so much simpler. Now not that there's not furnished apartments that you can rent in America, it's just that they call it executive housing.
Oh, really?
And it's 2 to 3 times as expensive as what rent should be.
Ugh.
Yeah. So
executive housing.
Not looking forward to having to buy all this stuff like, televisions. And
that sounds like some kind of weird euphemism for a high-end prison. Yeah, I'm not in prison. I just went to some executive housing for a couple years.
I'm not so sure it's all that far off, but nonetheless. So I'm gonna miss the ease of going into a place with a suitcase and being able to live. So,
all right, what's next?
Life. Oh, well, staying with my apartment for a minute. I talked about this a little bit on the bonus episode, but I'm really going to miss Ying, my housekeeper. She's just so awesome. She's great. She comes in, she spends 4-5 hours. I'm not sure what she does because the place wasn't that dirty before, but every single surface is cleaned. She's scrubbed the bathrooms. It's as if we also ran a dog kennel in here and had to bathe the dogs that have destroyed the bathroom, which is not the case at all. It's just the two of us. Nonetheless, that our bathrooms are scrubbed from top to bottom every single time she is here. Floors are all cleaned. All the linens are done. Everything's been folded properly. She's just an amazing person. And I overpay her because the amount she wanted me to pay her wasn't enough. So I am purposely overpaying her, and she's amazing. And I'll get a housekeeper when I'm back in America, and I'll pay, I don't know, 5-10x what I'm paying Ying, and for an hour's worth of work. It's just going to suck.
I might ask to meet Ying because I think my mother-in-law is going to be reaching the end of her tenure pretty soon, and we might need a housekeeper.
She's really good. If you need a housekeeper out there, listener, let me know. Ying is amazing. She gets on her motorbike and she drives all the way to me. I think she lives in Samut Prakan, so she's easy to get anywhere you want. I know she drives forever to get me. So
Geez, how much are you paying her? That's a long way to go.
I know. I'm overpaying her, but I'm not overpaying her that much. But nonetheless, she certainly does, and I love her. So I'll miss Yang.
How did you find her?
I found her through a service that connected people through to housekeepers, some online service. I forget what it was. And I had found her and a couple of other girls, but I kept requesting her over and over again. And one time they told me that she didn't work there anymore. And before I could ask, the service texted me back her line ID.
Oh, that's great.
So I pinged Ying and said, hey, you used to do this work for me. Do you want to come over here? And then 2 days later, when she found someone to be able to read the English and translate it for her and then write back on her phone, she's like, yeah. And so she's been with me ever since. So I just
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she is really, really fantastic. So if you need a housekeeper and Greg doesn't scoop her up, she is wonderful. Let me know. I will put you in contact with Yang. She's amazing. Okay.
Sweet.
Number 9, the penultimate thing I'm going to miss about this. I'm going to miss the SkyTrain, Greg.
Oh, it is really nice. Once you get a taste of what other cities put up with in North America for their rail transit,
right.
Yeah, you really come to appreciate Bangkok's BTS.
We really had nothing like this in Phoenix, where I lived for a number of years. We had a light rail, but it was pathetic and slow and went nowhere I really wanted to go. But the SkyTrain is easy and convenient. I don't take it as much anymore over the last 10 months. As you know, Greg, I've had the motorbike, and that's my primary way of getting around now. But occasionally it's just not a thing to do in the motorbike, and the SkyTrain is there. And that is almost always the preferred way to get into town because of that silly Sapan Taksim Bridge we mentioned previously is always jammed with cars. So it's just nice. I can get where I need to go on the SkyTrain, and it's easy, it's elegant, it's clean, it works all the time. It's such a good system.
Yeah, no, I complain about it sometimes because it's probably not managed as well as Westerners would come to expect or would want to expect. But yeah, when I went back home to Calgary, where I lived in Canada, where I grew up, and we have the LRT there, it's called the
LRT?
Can't even remember what
LRT.
Can't even remember what it's called. Light rail transit. It's called the C train. That's what it is. The C train, Calgary train. Man, the cars were small and dingy. They're like cigarette burns on the seats and plastic and dirty. And it was cold, like freezing cold. There was no heat, or what heat there was insufficient. Wow. And, it just went nowhere. And you come back here and the cars are spotless. The stations are spotless. They're mostly on time. They've got a very high or a very low failure rate. Like it's a really efficient, well-run system. All things considered.
Totally agree with you, and I will certainly miss that. Okay, so last thing, number 10, the thing I'm going to miss most of all of my time in Bangkok, the most important thing. I said these are not in order. This one is certainly in order. The thing I'm going to miss most is doing this, getting behind the microphone with you, Greg, every week, and talking to you out there, listener, and sharing these thoughts and ideas. You really have no idea how much I love doing this and how much fun it was, and it has improved my quality of life being in Bangkok, having a place to occasionally rant and rave and more often than that, share stories of camaraderie and get a chance to know some of you fine people. It's been really awesome. It's been a true honor. So thank you for allowing me to be in your ears for 2.5 years, and to you, Greg, thank you for letting me be the co-host of this for so long. It was genuinely a blast.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Thanks, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. And I know you're an OG podcaster from way back in the day. So you love doing it anyway. But I think also, a city like Bangkok, like what a fun place to talk about, right? So it's such a great subject to build a podcast around because it's endlessly fascinating. There's always stuff to rant and rave and scream about. And there's a ton to love too. So I think it's a great natural fit for something like this where you just sort of get around and bullshit with someone every week and talk about it.
I think so. It's a great premise for a show. It's as you say, it's easy to have the conversations, and there's so much to cover. That's why season 3 will be coming along with you and with Ed. You'll continue the party rolling, and the show will go in a different direction, but it's still going to be centered around the idea of sharing what's wild, weird, and wonderful about living in Krung Thep Mahanakan. It'll be great.
True dat. And thank you, man, for bringing your expertise. Like, I don't know, listeners out there, it's it's easy to record a podcast. It's easy to sit in front of a microphone and talk. Anyone can do that. But what goes on behind the scenes, you might be surprised how technical and complicated it can be, and also it needs to be. And Evo, thank you very much for sort of kicking things up a notch in terms of that, because when Tony and I did the show back in season 1, neither of us knew what the hell we were doing. And I still largely don't know what the hell I'm doing. But you brought a level of expertise, and you're like, no, this needs to be like this, and this needs to say this, and this needs to be formatted like this, because this and this and this, and Google will notice this better. Yeah. So I really do appreciate the sort of professionalism and boost to the behind the scenes stuff that goes on to the goes on with shows like this that no one sees, but is actually really important, that I didn't know anything about. So I really appreciate that. Well,
you're welcome. And I'll make you 2 promises about that. So the first one, that is, if there are questions or challenges and stuff that will come up, I remain available. So you guys can reach out to me whenever, or I would like to stay as active as possible so we can make sure that all of those weird, hard technical things continue to go forward. That's number 1 promise. And my second promise is that it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the show, a little something we call Love, Loathe, or Leave, where we look at one minor aspect of living in Bangkok and find out if it's something the 2 of us love about living in Bangkok, loathe about the expat life, or if it's something we hate so much that it just might cause us to leave Thailand. I have the honor, since it's my final show here on season 2 of the show, and I want to know, Greg, what you think about Pocky sticks. Not hockey sticks. You understand? Pocky sticks.
Now you're talking about those long, sort of maybe 10 centimeter long
pretzels,
sticks of pretzels, dough, hard like things,
something,
coated in chocolate,
or strawberry, or other sort of sugary goodness of which there is a veritable cornucopia of available at any marketplace.
Love them. Love. They're so good. They're the perfect snack. The portion size is right. You can eat one just like a little rabbit, just like, or you can get a fistful of them and just like chomp on them. Yeah. Chocolate's great. Strawberry's great. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you can go to some of the like specialty stores and get the Japanese imported ones, things like chopped up almonds and things like that on them. They're a great snack.
I'm relatively certain they're not Thai. I know they were imported from Japan or Korea or somewhere else, but they have become adopted into the Thai lifestyle. And I think there are some that are made here now, so they've completely glammed on. And Thailand is great at that, glamming onto something else and making it very Thai. But I love them, and my midsection shows it too, because they are amazing stuff. I'm sure I can buy them in America, and I can buy chocolate dipped pretzels and other sorts of weird things, but I just don't think it's going to be the same. I think there's that magic of pockiness that needs to happen here. So I will go back to America, and it'll be the Pocky clips, because I can't get it.
Well, if you're a good boy for Christmas, maybe you'll get a shoebox full of snacks from Santa.
That'd be wonderful. That would be wonderful. So, all right. So we're double loving on that one right there. Hey, before we take off out of here, we need to once again thank everyone who supports the show on Patreon or our other means. And if you would like to get this show early, well, season 3 when it begins, if you want to get those regular shows early, you'll also get access to cool swag that we have and some special bonus content that now Ed and Greg will be recording on a weekly basis. Go to bangkokpodcast.com/support and get signed up. And if you can't or won't do that, you can also consider leaving us a review on whatever it is you use to listen to the Bangkok podcast, just like Lee Hughes from Australia did when she called us, quote, cool listening plus useful, Greg, back in February, or on February 9th of 2018. She says, hey guys, I stumbled on this podcast while searching the term Bangkok in iTunes. I visit Bangkok every year and live like an expat for a week. I'm the week I'm there. So it's great to tune in and hear what's happening in my favorite city. Maybe one day I'll move over permanently. Thank you very much, Lee, for saying nice things about us on the iTunes.
You said Lee. It's L-E-A. Is that Leah? Leah?
My mom's middle name is spelled that way, and her middle name is Lee. So I'm going to go with Lee, but it could be Leah. I don't know. It could be Leia.
All right, let's go Lee. Let's go Lee. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, Lee. That's great of you. That's very nice of you. And hey, you only come here for a week? A week? What are you going to do in Bangkok in a week? You got to kick up. You got to get those numbers up, Lee.
Yeah. More time. Now that I'm going to be gone, it's even easier to fit in. It's great.
Yeah. And you don't have to buy him beer anymore, so you can spend the money on some other noble cause, like buying me beer. Well, that's it. I mean, that came up really suddenly, didn't it? It comes up fast when it's, you know, you get, what do they say? Time flies when you're having fun, right? So,
I guess so.
all right. And that is it. That brings to a close the final episode of season 2 of the Bangkok podcast. Man, what a ride this has been. We've got a few things to do, a few technical issues to sort out, but we will be back on the air before you know it. And we'll be talking about all the crazy cool stuff that goes on in Bangkok. Different co-host, different perspective, but the same base subject, which is this wonderful, disgusting, awful, amazing city.
Yeah. And seriously, listeners, thank you guys so much for sticking with us for these last 3 episodes. As we've been weird. Is it a new host? Is Evo back? What's going on? I don't know. Listen, I know it's kind of crazy. Look, I'm going to miss you guys, all of you listeners out there that support us and come online and say great things. I'm going to miss you. And Greg, not to get a little teary-eyed and shit, but dude, I'm really going to miss the time we spend together. You know.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Thanks. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna give you a big man bear hug before you go.
Yes.
And hey, we are gonna have a little party, right? We're gonna have a goodbye party.
We must have a goodbye party. We must do it quickly because my time is limited. So it'll have to be sometime in like early March, I guess. We'll have to do something.
Yeah. So listeners, like we said, this is going to be the last show. So barring like a very short emergency show that we might put out, check in on Facebook, check in on Twitter. Anything that goes on, we'll put on there.
Yeah.
But maybe another little social get together at a little pub for some wobbly pops might go over well.
Yeah, true. Hey, last quick plug. If you say, hey, I need more Evo in my life, even after the show is gone, there are ways you can listen to me, just not here. Here's the deal. The link will be in the show notes. If you're listening at home, you can just go and click on your little player and you can jump right into the listener's notes. It'll be right there. If not, go to the website or just remember this. It's very simple. My wife, Sheila, and I have a podcast, or we will have a podcast. Season 5 is starting before too terribly long. It's at shivo.wtf/podcast. That's easy. shivo.wtf/podcast and sign up to, well, not sign up, and get subscribed. Listen to the goofiness of the two of us because we're kind of fun too.
Fun, wacky, cool people. Fun, wacky, cool grandparents.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about that for season 5, no doubt.
And really, sincerely, everyone, thanks for listening to the show. Whether you're an OG listener from way back in season 1, which ran for 76 episodes, or a new listener that came on board during season 2, which ran for 72 episodes, thank you so much for your ears and your feedback and your love. I'm really looking forward to season 3 to continue talking about this amazing, maddening, crazy, intoxicating city that we call home. So if you want to send us a message, or if you have a show idea for season 3, or you just want to say, yo, what's up, head to bangkokpodcast.com/contact. Sorry, that's contact. You see, I'm still getting over that cold. Or you can reach out directly to me on Twitter, where I am BKK Greg.
Or you can send us a message to the show on Facebook, on Twitter, even online. We are at Bangkok Podcast on all of those places. We are good, and that means Greg is going to be good, and Ed is going to be good at responding to your comments, your questions, and your heaps of praise just about anywhere that you leave them. For my partner, my friend, Greg Jorgensen, I am Evo Terra. He and Ed will be back very soon with season 3 of the show, sharing more stories of their lives lived in the City of Angels right here on the Bangkok Podcast. Chokti Krap.
It's beautiful, man.
Don't cry on me, man.